Brilliant. We'll get going. Thanks very much for this.
Okay.
Well, Ryan, there's a squad announcement. It's been 9 months since the last game, so there's a few headlines. Can I start with Hal Robson-Kanu coming back? We've been mentioning it for a while. When did this become a possibility?
Well, I spoke to Hal just before what we thought we were going to be playing, obviously with the games in March. So ever since Hal decided that he didn't want to be up for selection, I've kept in touch with him, and he said things may change, which they have. He's in a much better place. He's playing regularly, playing well for West Brom, and I was keen to get him back into the fold. You know, he had something different from what we've got, whether it be starting or coming off the bench. So yeah, it'd be exciting to work with him for the first time.
So there's a familiar face coming back, two youngsters coming into defence as well. We've talked so much about Nico Williams of Liverpool, Ben Cabango from Swansea. How excited are you to get, new blood, I guess, into the squad?
Yeah, I am excited because they're two really good talents. Obviously, two players who I've known about for a long time. And they both had really good ends to the season, especially Nico with the situation with Liverpool, playing quite a lot of games towards the end of the season. And he's an exciting player. Obviously, he's at a big club. And Ben, similar, someone who Page has talked about, Robert Page, and someone who has got, who was done really well and made really good progress over the last year or so. So, yeah, especially with Ben, with the likes of Joe Roden, Chris Mepham not available, it gives him a real good chance.
And just finally, from me, we've heard this morning uncertainty in Finland. They've delayed naming their squad, uncertainty with the venue. Does that affect things from the Wales point of view?
No, I think it's just the climate that we're in. All we can do is prepare for the game, prepare for the game that we think will be in Finland. If anything changes, then we're going to have to adapt. But I think, that's what we're going to have over the coming months. It's something that we're going to have to get used to. But at the moment, we're preparing for the game on Thursday in Finland. So if anything changes, like I say, we'll have to adapt.
Brilliant. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, Ryan. How's it going? It's Dav here from the BBC.
Hi, Dav. You all right?
Good, thanks. Good to see you again. From the new faces to the more established ones, the name that always crops up at these times, it wouldn't be a press conference with you without mentioning him, Gareth Bale. What have you made of Gareth's last few months at Real Madrid?
It's nothing new for me as his international manager. A lot of speculation, not getting minutes on the pitch, but like I say, that's been the case for the last 18 months, really. So obviously I had to deal with that. But yeah, Gareth's a good professional. He always keeps himself fit and was available for me for every game in the qualifiers. Okay, I always say, ideally you want your players playing regularly to be in that match rhythm. And I don't always get that. So ideally you want that, but I think the way that Gareth looks after himself and the way that he comes onto camp and looks forward to coming onto camp, it's never been a problem so far.
And just from your relationship with Gareth, have you spoken to him much recently? How is he in himself? Because he does seem to have been under more scrutiny, more pressure than before. Have you seen a change?
No, I've not really spoke to him. I mean, I speak to him when he comes on camp, but other than that, I just let him get on with it. He's an experienced player. He's an experienced person in handling the situation. So I don't want to add to that. I speak to him when I'm on camp, see how he is, both mentally and physically. And he's always good. He's always excited to meet up on camp. And there's never been a problem to me. And he's always been a delight to work with.
For the moment, it's as it was for you. You've dealt with this situation before. When do you think it gets to the point when it's a concern for you as a manager who wants his players to be playing? Do you think it might have to be the case that he does move on, even if it's on loan before the Euros?
I think I'm always going to have. I mean, it's something that I've come to terms with. I'm never going to get the perfect squad or the perfect starting 11. There's always something, whether a player not playing or it's a last minute injury or something crops up. So I just have to adapt to that. And like I say, with Gareth, it's something that I'm used to. And if it becomes a problem in 6 months, we'll have to see. I can't see it being a problem for these games. But who knows what happens in the future. But all I can say is always turns up fit, always wants to play. Sometimes his body can't let him play 2 games, but he always wants to play and always puts himself forward to be available.
And just finally from me, you've got the likes of Gareth and Aaron in the squad, and you've got this exciting new breed of youngsters coming through. How will you look to balance that in these 2 games? Will you look to blood the likes of Nico and Ben?
I mean, I think there's an eye on obviously winning the games, but also with a definite eye on the summer and building for the future, which I always do. But first of all, dealing with the here and now, but with one eye, obviously, on the Euros, and there'll be lots of players. I've always said if everyone's fit, it'll be a nightmare picking that 23, and it's getting harder. The likes of Ben and Nico coming into the frame as well.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Am I allowed to go next? I'll go. Ryan, nice to see you. We know even a month is a long time in football management, but the fact that you've now effectively had another year to prep for the Euros and you've got these 2 games coming up, what does that do for you and your squad? And how do you feel about the next year ahead?
I'm excited. I said when Euros got postponed, it gives a real chance for these younger players. They'll have a year more to develop themselves, give themselves a better chance. Obviously, the obvious one, Joe Allen, who wouldn't have featured in the summer. Now, hopefully, he will be available. So, a year is a long time in international football, and I'm sure it's going to be changed. I'd go back to, say, a year, 18 months ago, and you see the likes of Joe Morel with the 21s, and now he's in our squad. So it gives a real sort of chance for the younger players to try and get into that squad. And if they do get in the squad and they do get a chance, that they have to take it.
You've seen a lot of other teams playing in empty stadiums. How are you feeling about the prospect? Obviously, there'll be no red wall on that Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to games where there's no spectators. Obviously, it is different. But the players who have played, who ended the season, would have been used to it. So they're used to it. They're probably more used to it than I am. But it will be strange, but it's something that we've got to deal with. Listen, I can't wait for the fans to get back, as long as it's in a safe environment, because you want to play in front of packed stadiums, especially at home, but even more so with the support that we have away. It's huge, and it was a big reason on why we qualified. The support that we had, especially towards the end of the campaign.
Final question from me. The likes of Hal coming back, with Nico and Ben, you're really showing, aren't you, that if you're playing well for your club, you'll get a chance for your country.
Yeah, I think, a lot has been made of bringing young players in, but I've always said how important the more experienced players are. And I never close the door on Hal, and you can't, because he's a quality player, and he was honest with me right from the beginning. He wasn't in the right frame of mind to play for his country, but he said in the future that might change. So, like I said, never close the door, and it gives a real chance. And I think everyone's excited to get into that squad for the Euros. And I want competition for places. I want players to push to be in that final squad, and I'm giving them the chance to do that. It's up to them to take it. And when they do get the chance, they must take it.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Hi, Ryan. It's Lawrence here. Hope you're well.
Hi, Lawrence. Yeah, good.
Yeah, Ryan, just ask you about Nico. Fantastic performances towards the end of the season. There were plenty of stories about England sniffing around as well as his dual qualified. Was that a consideration in you bringing him into the squad this time, or was he earned that place?
No, when I was in communication with Nico, it was he wants to play for Wales. I think he's got the most caps as a 19-year-old for Wales. So he's come through the system, and he's proud to play for Wales. And of course, I'm excited. What an exciting player, and I can't wait to work with him. And this is what we want. You see the rise of Connor Roberts over the last couple of years, and now you've got two players vying for potentially one position, and that's what I want all around the pitch. I want competition for places, because they will push each other. And in my experience, when you have players pushing you, it can only make the team better. So I'm really excited to work with him, and when he gets his chance, he must take it.
Looking at the top end of the pitch, you've got plenty of competition for places up there. One of the players, Dan James, obviously at Manchester United, he's had a great start to his Manchester United life, and then found it kind of a little bit more difficult towards the end of the season. What sort of mind frame does he come and join you in?
Well, I think Dan has always turned up in the right frame of mind. Obviously, when I was with him, it was earlier in the season, but Dan's rise has been pretty quick. Over the last 18 months, 2 years. If you go back, and sometimes he's been out of the team, but sometimes that can improve you in the long run. So I'm sure that will be the case. He wasn't playing regularly towards the end. But that can sometimes help you in the long run. You might not like it, you might want to be involved, but I'm sure, knowing Dan, the way that he is, the professional, the way that he wants to improve, the way that he trains, his attitude, he will come through, and he'll be all the better for it.
Plenty of stories linking David Brooks as well with a move to Manchester United. Firstly, you must be ecstatic to have him back in the squad after a long time injured, but is he a type of player that can go and thrive at Manchester United?
Well, Brooks is, a great talent. He's a player who, doesn't come along very often. Someone who can beat men, make things happen, just float past players. But first and foremost, it's great to have him back playing again. Obviously, he played a lot towards the end of the season after a long layoff. So, yeah, it'd be great to see Brooksy back training, playing, because we did miss him. We miss you. Any team would miss a player like that who can make things happen.
And just finally, for me, you've seen the likes of Robbie Burton going over to Dynamo Zagreb, and he's starting games there. Is that the type of pressure you want from your under-21s? Because I think we've got Dylan in the squad here, and he's potentially looking for a loan move. So it's kind of a pivotal time for a lot of these young players.
It is, and Robbie's done fantastic. He started the season in the first team. He had a good pre-season. Robert Page has been in communication with him. What he's done is brave. And on the camp will be the 21s. I wanted to bring the two teams together for this reason, to get a closer look at the next generation, at the players who hopefully we'll be seeing in the next 2 years. So I'll get a chance to watch Robbie train. But yeah, definitely he's one that will be pushing the midfielders. I'm going forward, and that's what I want.
Actually, if I could just ask one more, Sam Vokes isn't in the squad. Is that a particular reason for that?
Any other questions?
No,
just my Sam Vokes one, if that's okay.
Yeah. No.
He's on mute.
Hi, can you hear me, Lawrence? Yeah, just answering the Sam Vokes question. I spoke to Vokesy yesterday, and I just explained that obviously with Kiefer, with Tyler, with Hal coming in, I wanted to look at Hal. It's not the end for Sam. He's a brilliant lad, great to have within the squad. I know what he's capable of, and he may well come back into the other squads. And he's someone who can score goals, who can make things happen, who can come off the bench or start games, and a goal scorer. So, yeah, Sam was fine about it. Of course, he's disappointed, but I just felt in this campaign, I just wanted to have a good look at Tyler and Hal. Tyler has had a few injury problems, and obviously Hal's not been in the squad. So I wanted to have a real look at them and be fair to them for this camp. Okay.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.